feel the nerves starting. I think the most nerve-wracking part is anticipating, like, if things go south and they go really bad. It's a long drive home.
For Chrissy Carter Schofield, that long drive is from Fort Myers to Tallahassee, Florida. It's the 4th parole hearing for her husband, Leo Schofield.
I feel nervous, scared, hopeful, desperate, sad, anxious, all of it.
Their daughter Ashley worries from the back seat.
Almost every single parole hearing, it's almost like I go through like a little like life crisis.
Leo has spent 35 years in prison for the murder of his first wife, 18-year-old Michelle Schofield, a crime Chrissy insists he did not commit. She's been his strongest advocate since they met back in 1991.
I was 31. He was 25. I had graduated from University of Florida with a bachelor's in sociology. I was a teacher at the college in the prison, and Leo was an inmate. Maybe it was about 7 months, 8 months into it where I said, oh, I like him. He shared with me that he was in there for a crime that he did not commit. I went to the courthouse and I started looking and researching. I would read something, I'd go ask him, it all starts to line up. I'm like, okay, yeah, he's innocent.
She said, I met someone. And I said, well, who is he? And she said, well, he's a prisoner. I said, okay, well, my next question is, well, what is he in for? And she said, murder. And I said, who? And she goes, his wife. And I said, you're crazy.
We got married in a little chapel in the prison. He played guitar and sang some songs afterwards. It was very, very romantic in the weirdest kind of way.
Chrissy and Leo's love story, unlikely, right?
Yeah, I mean, to this day, when I tell people about it, I always get those raised eyebrows.
They even adopted a daughter together, Leo parenting during jail time visits.
The first time he held me, I was 4 days old. When I would cry, he would come and get me and I would just stop crying as soon as he'd hold me. I was daddy's girl from day one, so I want my dad home and I want my dad home now.
My husband did not kill his first wife. I absolutely 100% know that because I know him and I've looked at the case. It's impossible.
In the eyes of the law, Leo Schofield is a killer, a man who brutally murdered his young wife back in 1987. But his many supporters say there's much more to the story, including evidence linking another man to the crime. We spoke to Leo behind bars.
I like to say this, that I'm an ordinary man. There's nothing extraordinary about me. The circumstances may be extraordinary, but I'm an idealistic dreamer. I always have been. Innocent is no part in it, no plan in it. Didn't know it was happening, didn't know it was gonna happen, and didn't want it to happen. That is me. I am 100% innocent of Michelle's murder.
Pulitzer Prize-winning author Gilbert King has investigated Leo's case and produced a podcast series about it called Bone Valley.
The story of Michelle's murder doesn't end with Leo's conviction. In fact, the story is just the beginning.
Where did Leo grow up?
Leo grew up in Fall River, Massachusetts, tough little town outside of Boston. And his family in the early 80s moved into a little trailer in Lakeland, Florida.
Lakeland is located literally in between Tampa and Orlando. It's right on Interstate 4. It's the cornerstone of Polk County.
If you go into Central Florida, it becomes very rural and very much like the Deep South. Leo immediately doesn't fit in. He's got the long hair, he's got that New England accent.
It was very tough because I grew up in the project in Massachusetts from the age of 7, and I missed it as soon as we left.
What was Leo's dream in life?
You know, he really had one dream, and that was to be a heavy metal guitarist.
All my life, I wanted to be a rock and roll guitar player. That's all I ever wanted to do.
We all liked music and used to get together and jam. He was a good guitarist, for sure.
He had a cute smile, and I think that would probably melt some of those little teenage girls' hearts.
In 1985, Leo met 16-year-old Michelle Song. Unlike Leo, she was born and raised in Lakeland, Florida.
Michelle was my older sister. My earliest memories about Michelle were that she was always happy. She was just so easygoing, you know, and people just loved to be around her.
I met Michelle in the 4th grade, and we became best friends almost instantly. Michelle was very playful, just a really fun person.
She really liked to sing. She really liked music. One of her favorites was Pat Benatar. She would always be singing her songs.
Jumping around doing "Hit Me With Your Best Shot." Of course, that was the 80s. We always made time to goof around.
She was just absolutely stunningly beautiful. The first time I saw her, I thought, wow, she was always happy, always smiling.
My first impressions of Leo, he was a little bit cocky, a little macho.
He was very different from what I was used to seeing her with. A little more of the bad boy.
Leo and Michelle get married in August of 1986. They had known each other about 6 months.
Their wedding happened so fast that I was like, wow, it really surprised me. I was like, dang man, this is like in high gear.
Michelle and Leo's wedding was at a small church in Lakeland. It was beautiful. I was the maid of honor, so I was the only one that walked down with her. Oh, here's one. This was the most recent picture of her before she passed. I haven't seen it in a while, so I apologize. Wow. So this is the bouquet that I carried during Michelle's wedding. Her bouquet was just like this, only bigger. It was just a very good memory.
The happiest day of my life, easily. I was so excited that day. I remember watching her walk down the aisle, dressed like that, thinking, I'm actually marrying this girl. This girl is gonna be my wife.
You know, they were newly married, had very little money, so they lived off of Cumbie Road in a trailer establishment.
Leo worked odd jobs. Michelle was a waitress here at what used to be Tom's Restaurant. After her shift that fateful night, she called Leo from a payphone across the street. It would be the last place she would be seen before she went missing.
Minutes turned to hours, no sign of her. He's absolutely frantic.
Polk County Sheriff's Office, Operator 53, can I help you?
Yes, I need to talk to somebody about finding my wife.